The period between 8th and 13th centuries AD was extremely important in Southeast Asian history, in the sense that Theravada Buddhism and implanted in Southeast Asia then. It was not till the year 847 that the city of Bagan, whose sad ruins lie today along the banks of Ayavati, come into existence. The monuments now we see in the forms of decay were erected during 10, 11 and 12th centuries when Bagan was the capital city of Myanmar. The ruins of Bagan cover a flat plain of country measuring 20 by 5 miles or an area of 100 square miles. It was first begun and later extending from the Gulf of Mataban to the borders of southern China and from the Bay of Bengal to Cambodia. Marco Polo wrote in his travel book that when you have traveled 15 days marches, of which I have told you, then you find a beautiful city called Mian, which is very great and noble, and is the head of the kingdom of Mian. This giant solid prototype pagoda was built by King Anorata, the founder of the first Myanmar Empire, but he left it unfinished, only to be completed by his son Janzita for the posterities to worship and enjoy the pagoda and its surrounding embellishments. Around the terraces of the pagoda there are enamel plaques set in panels illustrating scenes in the previous lives of Lord Buddha. At another corner of the platform there are spiritual figures collected and kept in a shed forever by order of King Anorata. The king ordered all his citizens to give up all forms of spiritual and idol worshipping and to profess only in Buddhist beliefs. Stray worshipping from Buddhism was successfully subdued by the power of the great king. Ananda, one of the most impressive and exquisite buildings, or Gupya, was built by Janzita, son of Anorata, in 1091 AD. And in 4 niches facing 4 cardinal points, there are 4 30 feet tall wooden Buddha images, which represent the 4 Buddhas of the world cycle. The finely carved reliefs of the life of Lord Buddha are well preserved and well maintained. Some say Ananda is the best preserved Bagan architecture, both on exterior and interior. Fine carved stone, plaster and wood prove the superb craft of the masters of Bagan. In February, Ananda holds its annual festival of Pyado, to which villagers, mostly farmers around, come with members of families by carts and camped near the Great Pagoda for about a week to enjoy the pilgrimage holiday of Myanmar style and offer a bowl of their farm produce in the morning of this celebration.
Minlo, built in 1218, is one of the larger temples of Bagan. The whole structure is about 150 feet high. It is a two-storied building with 4 entrances. Portions of fine plaster carving still remain on arch pediments, frieze and pilasters, but the murals inside have worn out through passage of time. Tilomilo and Sulamni resemble in shape, probably because the Tilomilo was built by the son when the later one was built by the father. Sulamni, or the crown jewel temple, consists of 2 stories, each of which is square with porches on all 4 sides with extended eastern porch. Both stories have terraces. In the ground story, a vaulted corridor runs around the central pile of solid brickwork, each side of which has a seated image of Buddha. The inner walls were once decorated with paintings, but no trace of great artistic value has been found after years of abandonment. This is the biggest kupya of the kind and the most controversial kupya, called Damayanji, built by Naradu, who killed his own father for the throne and was notorious to his subjects. Some historians comment that his workforce, brutally pressed and forced, cursed the cruel king and left his work unfinished when the king was assassinated. The massive structure of the temple contains an intriguing puzzle. There are 2 corridors running parallel, but only the outer corridor has the access. The inner corridor is dead closed and has no entry. However, the temple donor was later assassinated by Sinhalese Indians, according to the chronicles. For tourists traveling in Myanmar, Bagan is the top choice to visit, exceptionally in scorchingly hot March, April and May 3 months. Mahabodhi. This pyramidal-shaped pagoda was an exact replica of a structure built in India at the site where Lord Buddha got enlightened.
Nampia is situated precariously on the bank of eroding Ayavati River. Suffered damages very often and once was completely demolished. The original donor was a king of early Bagan. The pagoda is regarded as true early Bagan architecture with links. According to the chronicles, the palace was completely burnt down during Mongol invasion in late 13th century. The site has never been excavated since then. It was only a few years ago that the site was first excavated. Historical items found at excavation site are now kept at the museum for public viewing. There are two Gubyauji monuments, one at Waji Inn and one at Yingaba. This is the Gubyauji, the great colorful cave at Waji Inn. The cave pagoda is dated as early as 13th century. The pagoda used to have a pyramidal spire until the big earthquake in 1975. There are very fine frescoes of Buddha's previous life stories. Unfortunately, many parts of these frescoes were looted by earlier thieves. Yingaba Gubyauji. Janzida, before becoming the king of Bagan, met and fell in love with a jungle lady while he was in exile. The lady became the queen, and the site where they had the Romans was the ground for the temple. The temple is noted for its paintings, which are supposed to be one of the earliest works of Bagan. Nanamnya. The temple do not look significant from the outside, but it is worth seeing because the paintings which embellish the walls and ceilings of the temple. Among Buddha's usual life stories, one of the most interesting figures are scantily clad women in various postures. This cave pagoda is one of the very rare types of pagodas where stone is widely used. Though the main structure is brick, soft sandstone is used for aesthetic or protective purposes and imitating the form of bricks. With perforated windows and carved stone reliefs, Nampia is a workmanship of early Bagan period. Abhayarana Gupaya or Abhayarana Cave Pagoda is a work donated by Abhayarana, Queen of Chanzita. In structural plan, Abhayarana resembles the Nagayom, with a portico projecting in the north and with sloping roofs and terraces. East and West Pali. These temples are located in the village of Tiripisia. There are covered ambulatories around bases of the pagodas. The ambulatories were intended as galleries for Jataka series stamped on unglazed terracotta plaques. Many were buried, and the sombre scenes of 546 plaques have been uncovered. Pali pagodas are believed to have been built at the time of Anorata or earlier Bagan. Lacquerware works. Visitors can also pay a visit to local lacquerware works, which is a major profession of the local community. Brick Monastery. Just a few yards from Ananda, there is Ujjain, or Brick Monastery. The monastery is considered a rare piece of art because the whole structure is made of fine red bricks. The wall paintings of fine workmanship illustrate life of the ordinary people, but seem to be rebrushing at a later date. This is Upali Ordination Hall, built by a monk called Shimbali, estimated in 13th century, followed by later renovations. Fine brilliant frescoes representing 28 previous Buddha suffered a big earthquake in 1975 and were largely damaged. Barba Gate. The gate is the only near intact remnant part of the circuit wall built in 849 by King Pyemya, 33rd king of the pre-Bagan dynastic period. The entrance is guarded by two guardian spirits of brother and sister, who were brutally killed by the king, lest the brother might become a rival to the throne. The images were still kept in the gate shrines and giving respect by the people of Bagan and the neighborhood. Museum. The Museum of Bagan displays various items of different periods. Every available pieces of stone, clay, brick, wood, plaster, bronze, silver, and gold are displayed about historical chapters so far away. This is Tabinu or Omniscience Kupia, built in 1144 AD by King Alausidu, the most noted sea traveler of the dynasty. It is about 200 feet and the tallest at Bagan. The temple is made up of 5 stories for the residences of monks, for Buddha images, and for holy relics. One may go up along the interior staircase and again on an exterior staircase to reach upper terraces if permission is granted. Buddhism Library. King Anorata attacked the Mons in the south, and the 3 sets of Buddhist scriptures were taken away to Bagan. It is believed that the scriptures were temporarily kept in this housing upon arrival. This huge Buddha image called Tanoja is about 20 feet tall. The donor was the Bagan king who fled before the arrival of Mongol Tatars in 1284. The plaster over the bricks have crumbled away over the years. Myazidi, probably built by Razakuma, who never became king, even though he was being the son of Janzita on his father's deathbed. The most valuable thing to know about Bagan dynasty was a 4-faced inscription stone, unearthed in 1911, written in 4 languages of the time: Nyama, Mo, Bali, and Pyu. Manuha Gubaya or Manuha Temple, situated at Mingaba, is about 2 miles south of Bagan. The name Manuha was given after its founder, the captive king Manuha of the tomb. Narota of Bagan defeated him for the texts of Buddhist scriptures. Manuha built the Gubaya or the temple in 1059 while being in exile. He also built a reclining Buddha in a very narrow housing to represent his sufferings as an exiled king. Nagayong. This pagoda was built by King Jansita, the same donor of Ananda. There are the same sloping roofs, the same terraces, the same corner stupas, the same spire, and the same stupa finial. But as it is estimated to be earlier than Ananda, the stupa was built in much subdued manner, as scholars say. Shweguji, built by King Alaungsitu. The Shweguji has not much left to see, but historically, this quiet, dark temple is famous for the last episode of a great king who was the donor of the temple. When he was seriously sick, his son quickly removed him from the golden palace to this temple. The dying king in his deathbed regained consciousness where he laid that his son immediately came down from the palace and suffocated him with pillow until he died. Jogu Umin, or the cave tunnel, is noted for its significant location and structure. Unlike most of the temples of Bagan, it is built on a sharp, steep side of a ravine. The temple is said to be of 11th century work. The period between 8th and 13th centuries AD was extremely important in Southeast Asian history, in the sense that Theravada Buddhism and early Islamic religions were firmly implanted in Southeast Asia then. But it was not till the year 847 that the city of Bagan, whose sad ruins lie today along the banks of Irrawaddy, come into existence. The monuments now we see in the forms of decay were erected during 10th, 11th and 12th centuries, when Bagan was the capital of Myanmar. Finally, as Scott O'Connor says, but the cactus and the wild plum now grow, where Narota once ruled, in magnificence and splendor. A dusty wheel track runs through the grand gateway of Old Bagan, while a slow country cart, creaking along the ruts, toils alone. Now where of old there marched the processions of a king, and a breath as of utter desolation broods over a city which has been dead for 800 years.